Hey, in a previous video, we looked at how to use the simple interest triangle to solve simple interest problems. Now, I will link that video in the description, but what about questions where the interest is given to us as an annual rate, but the time periods aren't years? There's something like this. Boris invests $10,000 at 10% per annum, so per year interest. How much interest will he earn in 3 months? Well, we can use our simple interest triangle to solve this, but before we go any further, hopefully you can see the problem. Our interest rate is an annual amount per annum, but where our time periods are actually months. So before we go ahead and solve this, we've got to do a little bit of modifying. Now, there are two options, two ways you can do this. Option one, I think, is probably the easiest most of the time, but if you prefer option two, go for it. We're going to convert the time to an annual amount. So we're going to say, well, 3 months is how many years? Well, we simply divide it by 12 because there are 12 months in a year. So 3 out of 12 is 0.25 years. So it's a quarter of a year, 0.25 of a year. So now we can just go ahead and fill in the things that we know. We know the principal amount of 10,000. The rate is 10%, but remember we always use the decimal, so divide it by 100 to get the decimal version. And we worked out that our n value in years, our time, the number of time periods, is 0.25. Now, using our triangle, we want to work out the interest. So I'm going to cover over the interest, and what I'm left with is P times R times N. So my simple interest will be the principal times the rate of interest times the number of time periods. Remember, I like to lay them out, put them in a set of brackets just so you don't get confused. There's my principal, there's my interest rate, there's my time periods, multiply them all together, and I get $250 interest that he will earn in 3 months. So that's option one, convert the months to a yearly amount. Now, you might prefer to go with option two, which keeps the months, but it converts the percentage rate from an annual rate to a monthly rate. Now, if it's 10% per annum, that's 12 months. Well, if I simply divide that by 12, I'll get a figure, a percentage per month. In this case, it's 0.833% per month. But don't rush ahead and use that as your decimal, because remember, that is a percentage. To convert that to the decimal, we have to divide it by 100. So the actual decimal value is 0.00833. Let's now put that into our the variables, the letters that we have. We've got principal of 10,000. Our rate we worked out as 0.00833. But now n is going to be 3 months because this is a monthly interest rate. So we're going to work with monthly time periods. Just like over here, this was a yearly interest rate. So we had to work with yearly time periods. Monthly has to go with monthly. And from there, it's just the same. Just put them into the formula, multiply those three values together, and we get $24,990, or close enough to $250. Pick the one that works better for you. Either convert the time to annual or convert the percentage to monthly. So long as your interest and your time periods match up, you're good to go. Well done.